Thanks so much for joining us today. So as you can see, we're missing Lauren here, and she sends, much heartfelt gratitude to everyone on the call, but she's not able to make it today, unfortunately. And she's so sad about that because this is the one conversation she was really, really, really looking forward to, because it is about Yoga Nidra and something that holds, a special place in Lauren's heart. But we do have Erin here to talk about Yoga Nidra and kind of her journey into yoga and everything. But before we get started, I just wanted to go over a few things on the call. So first of all, if English is not your first language, we do have a closed captioning option that you guys can use if needed. Your cameras and your microphones are turned off at the moment during the call. And we will be offering, if you have questions or comments, or you want to share stories at the end, we would absolutely love to see your faces and your voices at the end. So feel free to raise your little icon hand and I could click on you, turn on your video, and you feel free to share your story or comments or questions, which would be lovely to see all you guys. Or if you feel more comfortable, we do have a question feature where you could type in your question and I could simply just, ask the question as well. So without further ado, Erin, thank you so much for being here. I know your schedule is absolutely crazy. So, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us about, you and how yoga has changed your life, and also about, Yoga Nidra, like something that I know everyone here is very interested in kind of learning more about. So thank you. First question, how did you get into yoga? Tell us about your journey and how, you got into the world of yoga.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Thank you.
Well, I would say I came to yoga from one of the darkest, hardest times of my life. And yoga was really a saving grace. And I think I took to the practice so immediately and intensely because of the suffering I was in. I was working with an eating disorder and struggling quite a bit with my mental health, living in New York City, kind of in a very, my nature is quite fiery and quite fast. And so it was, I was burning out in all directions. And I got to a place where I was like, I either have to do something different or I'm not going to be around much longer. And there was a candlelit yoga class in New York City on St. Mark's Place, donation based, Sunday night. And I went, and it was the first time I'd felt safe in my body. Like I felt this relief, and I don't even think I had the cognition around what I was feeling, but I just knew I needed to keep coming back. And then that partnered with, Western psychotherapy, group therapy, diving more into my internal landscape and what was happening, learning to tend and remother myself. All of that started to happen through the path of yoga. Not only asana, but the 8 limbs that the yogic path asks us to participate in. So it was really, I say yoga definitely saved my life. And though I'm not in that same experience, and I'm on the other side of it, and now I get to support people who are in similar experiences with their body or with their internal landscape, any sort of turmoil. I will say that it's continually a place that I go to come home. And Yoga Nidra now has become a practice I do almost every day. It is to me the medicine of our time. It is something that is so simple and so kind of radical to practice in our modern moment, fast-paced world. So I'm so excited to get to explore it and offer it, and create a normalcy around rest and ease.
Rest is so hard for people. I feel like it's one of the most difficult things to actually do is rest. Especially in the Western society, it's like busy, 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 busy all the time, or go, 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 go all the time. Even today, in my day, it was very busy today, a lot of meetings, a lot of deadlines and everything. But I told Erin this before we got on the call. I took a Yoga Nidra class right before this conversation, and I feel right now like very calm. I really feel like it made a difference, and it was only 30 minutes as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's all it needs to be. I mean, and it's not, I think we don't want to put judgment or shame around this piece of like, oh, I don't have time to rest and I'm doing something wrong, because that can happen too, where we're like, I know this is something I should do, it's good for me, but I can't figure out a way to do it. And what you just named is like, it's collective, it's cultural. We're not trained, we're not taught, we're not celebrated for our capacity to rest. No one is like, wow, I see that you really have boundaries around your self-care and you prioritize napping. Like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. I mean, I think that conversation would be amazing, but that's not really how our systems are built. So I in that way, I think to practice Yoga Nidra is it's being a revolutionary. It's saying like, I'm gonna do things differently than my culture tells me to do it, because for me.
And so that kind of transitions very well into your new series that's releasing next Wednesday. A guided journey into deep restoration, a Yoga Nidra series, which is our first Yoga Nidra series on Interdimension TV. So let's talk about that a bit. Like, what are members expecting on this new series? If you could kind of tell us a little details about that, that'd be amazing. Thank you.
I hear my teacher in my ear, so I just have to say one thing, which is saying Yoga Nidra is a different transmission vocally than Yoga Nidra. Nidra in Sanskrit, ni is different than ni. So ni invites us into restoration. Ni is a bit more intense. So I just want to
thank you so much for that.
It's not really talked about, but just so that we're not undoing the practice by the word itself. So this series is designed to be a little like collection of practices that you can choose to do at any point. You can just have this archive of practices that, like, anytime you need a rest, they're all about 20-25 minutes. You turn it on, you put your eye mask on, you lay down on a surface, and you are guided through your awareness, through your breath, into a space of harmonizing your nervous system and creating an access way, a path to that natural place that we heal and we restore. You can also choose to do each of the practices in a row, because they go from kind of like shorter, most immediate, accessible. Maybe you don't have a lot of time, or you're like, I don't know what this Nidra thing is. I'm just gonna, like, I just want to ground my body. Great, there's a practice for that. You can kind of go in order and then repeat. So every time you finish the 5 of them, you do another one. You can also, what I like to do, how I rotate through my practices, is you choose one and you commit to it for a certain amount of time. In the way my teacher, Tracy Stanley, talks about it is 40 days. 40-day sadhana is a wonderful amount of time. Like, if you can really commit and be very generous and compassionate when maybe, you miss a day or whatever, your human reality comes in, but you set the devotional intention to have a 40-day commitment to Yoga Nidra. It's not a hyperbole to say your life changes. Because when you are consistently restoring your nervous system amidst the continual dynamic swirl of your reality, you come into contact with the part of you that can be with all of it, that none of the content has to change in order for you to have access to that place that can stay steady, can stay centered. Plus, when we rest, we get the benefit of being rested in the world, which, I don't know about you, I'm a very different person if I'm rested than when I'm,
Oh,
you
absolutely.
know,
For me too.
depleted. I mean, it's just like I can't, I'm looking when I'm depleted, the frames that I'm looking at the world through, the lenses of my perception are so cloudy and out of focus, and
Hmm.
it's really shifts everything. So I'm so excited that like this series is available, and I really tried to make the practices accessible and sweet and nourishing. And Yoga Nidra is a practice of effortlessness. It's effort. They call it effortless effort because it's effort to get yourself
Yes.
there. It's effort to lay down.
Mhm.
It's effort to press play. But from there, unlike most of the things we do, the work is actually to dissolve and to
Mhm.
let go more and more and more.
Yeah. And I think it's perfect timing because, fall equinox is just around the corner. There's a lot of changes
Mhm.
happening in the fall. People are
Mhm.
like busy, 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 Christmas shopping or presents, holiday presents. It's the end of the year, 2024 is coming along. They want to like set all their goals and they didn't finish their goals. So all this like anxiety and stress is popping up. So I just think this is a perfect series for people to do during the fall time or anytime, obviously.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
beautiful to have in your toolkit during any
Yeah.
stressful moment, transition. Also really wonderful to do with loved ones, to make ritualized rest a part of your reality. And I work with couples where I'm like, date night, here you
Mhm.
go,
Oh,
do
yeah.
this. And then enter into conversation. Because also when your nervous system is at ease, having a conversation, a vulnerability, maybe that's somewhat confrontational, is going to go so much better
Mhm.
than if you're not. So there's
Yeah.
all sorts of ways to let these practices really enhance your waking reality.
Yeah, definitely. And is there a particular time you suggest that people do your series, or like at nighttime before bed or in the
Mm.
afternoon, or any details on that?
Best time to do this practice
Mhm.
is when you do this practice. Like
Love
I
it.
would say for every individual,
Mhm.
look at your schedule and choose the best time for you, because anytime you choose to rest is going to support you.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, some people do use the practice as a way to enter into sleep. Like you can do the practice and then kind of roll over and go to bed.
Yeah.
Great.
Mhm.
I find I really like to insert it in the middle of the day as kind of like okay, I had the morning and then now I have the rest of my day, the kind of natural
Yeah.
transition of the
Mhm.
heat of the day in Ayurveda. The pitta time
Mhm.
is releasing to the Kaphic time. So this is a really nice place to say, okay, release the effort of the day and come into a softer space.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Ah, that sounds so nice right now. I just want to take your series right now. Um, So Laura wants to bring this up to you. Contemporary concept of non-sleep deep rest. Can you
Mhm.
kind of delve into that? I know that's kind of a fancy way of saying yoga nidra. So if you wanted to kind of talk about that, that'd
Yeah.
be great.
Yeah. Well, you're exactly right. And I'm, bless Andrew Huberman, who coined this
Yep.
term,
Mm-hmm.
who, if you go to NSDR, non-sleep deep rest, if you go to that website,
Mm-hmm.
in parentheses, it says yoga nidra.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons he did that, that I'm aware of, and that honestly makes a lot of sense, is that there can be, this practice is for everyone. It's meant for everybody. It's a human thing to need rest and to need nourishment. Yoga Nidra is also a spiritual practice. If you consistently practice Yoga Nidra, you will enter into what the ancient yogis called the four states of consciousness, the the different ways of perceiving reality, the dimensionality of who we are and what we contain, connection to the unseen. So Yoga Nidra is a spiritual path. It is a practice. Not everyone is drawn to that kind of thing, but we all are drawn to de-stressing, to releasing tension, to enhancing focus, cognition, to stoking the immune system, like that's a very human thing. So I really like and support this vantage point of like yoga nidra, spiritual path, get all the benefits of deeply resting. And if you're someone who's turned off by that kind of language, then the kind of secularized version, just a scientific name for the same thing, is NSDR. So bless it.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. Yeah, thank you for that. Can you kind of talk about, or do you know like the history of Yoga Nidra? Like when did it start, or when did it, first? Yeah, just kind of like the history of it.
Yeah. Well, it's really interesting because with a lot of these practices, there's mythology around it, and there's a kind of these practices were created a lot of times before people were writing things down. So there's oral tradition and kind of like games of telephone that happen. And Yoga Nidra is mentioned in spiritual texts, but not very much. There's like maybe a line or two. And what the lineage that I was trained under and practice, the story goes that there was actually a female rishi, an ancient seeker, was going every night. This elderly woman was going every night to this bathhouse, and this man was watching her. This yogi was watching her going into this bathhouse, and she would be there from midnight to 6 a.m. and she would never sleep. And she did this consistently. And finally he asked her, he was like, do you ever, how are you able to bypass this human thing of sleep that we all need? And she said, oh, let me tell you about this practice that I do. She was like, I'm kind of a biohacker, and I figured out that if I take myself into a deeply meditative state, where my body can fall asleep, my mind can fall asleep, but my awareness is awake, it can be moved through my body, I can transition between the state of waking and sleeping. So I can enter a liminal space, and that liminal space is nourishing to every aspect of our being, mind, body, spirit. All of it gets rejuvenated in that space. So that's kind of like, this may be how this practice was passed down. There's mythology around it in the Hindu tradition. Yoga Nidra is a goddess, and she's said to be responsible for waking, for sleeping, for remembering, for forgetting. And roughly the kind of mythology, the narrative is that Vishnu, who is the creator and destroyer, god of creation and destruction, wanted to sleep, and he wanted to sleep for a long time. So he called forth the goddess Nidra, and she put her hands over his eyes, and he went into sleep for a millennia, as time functions in these sorts of tales. And while he was asleep, his body was asleep, his mind was asleep, a lotus flower bloomed out of the center of his heart, and Brahma appeared. And Brahma is also one of the deities in the Hindu tradition that is quite an important character. And Brahma was meditating, was aware while Vishnu was asleep. And while Brahma was meditating, all of these little bugs, I think they have a certain name, I don't remember what it is, but all these little bugs were trying to like distract him and be like, wake up, like, what are you doing? As our minds do when we meditate. And Brahma's whole work was to allow Vishnu to stay asleep, body's asleep, mind is asleep, but for him to maintain awareness throughout that experience. And what was able to happen was there was a generating of power, and there was a generating of presence. And it's said that the only way that Vishnu could wake up was, again, to call Yoga Nidra forward, to have him wake up and reemerge with this restored sense of power, so that he could go create the universe, reconstruct reality for all beings. so she holds, Yoga Nidra holds this really important symbol in our world today, which is like, wake up. Like we fall asleep and we wake up. We get caught in a trance of what we think is real and important, and what we're caught in, and the stories of our mind, and the limited beliefs, and Yoga Nidra says, okay, now go into rest and reemerge to truth, and bloom out of the center of your own heart, the center of your own lotus, and re-enter the world in a way that is aligned with remembrance, with essential absolute truth. So it's beautiful.
Oh, yeah, that was beautiful what you just told us right now. Beautiful. So would you say that Yoga Nidra is meditation and restorative yoga kind of mixed together, or kind of mostly meditation? Or you think it's its own type of genre?
Yeah, I mean, you could throw in many words
Yeah.
to what it is, but I mean, it's ultimately, I wouldn't. I mean, where my mind is going is like, what is yoga? Are we talking about asana? Because if we're talking about asana, then no, it's not.
Yeah.
But if we're talking about a state of being that promotes healing, yes. Mindfulness, we're actually kind of turning the mind off. So that's there's like, I don't know, we could, Chrissy, we could go in and split.
Yeah, we could get into this. Yeah.
But those words, restoration and increasing our waking capacity to be mindful. Yeah. Yes, those are definitely
beautiful. Do you remember your first class that you took? The Yoga Nidra class? Yeah.
Yes. One of my teachers, Kevin Courtney, offered Yoga Nidra at a retreat that I was supporting, a method I teach called The Class. He offered Nidra, and I remember the feeling. It felt so good. That feeling when your body goes to sleep and you can fully relax, but there's the part of you that's watching it happen, and you're experiencing your body like the volume knob turning down, 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 is one of the most pleasurable experiences in the world. And the interesting thing about Yoga Nidra is, oftentimes people fall asleep, and that's not wrong, but the added kind of like the texture of it, or the invitation, is like, yeah, let the body go to sleep, let the mind turn off, but like, can you keep your awareness here? Eventually it becomes subtler and subtler, that the part of you that says I am here goes away. So to enter into, let's say, the kind of ultimate state of Yoga Nidra, there's not a recognition that you're doing it. It's you, if you're like, oh, I'm in Nidra, the goddess has gone away. Yeah. You're not there anymore. So it's really a practice of trust and a practice of surrender, and really a dance with mystery, because you're like, I don't know, there might be a period of time where I just don't know where I went.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's an awesome feeling too. In your series, is there, like, for each class, is there a different theme for each class, or a different focus on each class? Yeah, there's different techniques that we utilize. So different ways of tracking awareness through the body, scanning the body, different, some include like moments of breath techniques to help deeply relax the body. Some have, there are specific themes. There's ones that really focus on the heart, one that focus on the connection to the bigness that holds us all. There's one that is calls in the power of the moon and lunar energy. So it's it's I'm excited to hear how people find it. Definitely. Like, do you have any recommendation of like books that you've read? Or I just want to hear your thoughts about that, because I know there's a lot of members who always kind of have asked for recommendations on books and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
There's well, my teacher Tracy Stanley has a book called Radiant Rest, and it's a Yoga Nidra book, and it's a very accessible read, like some beautiful illustrations, and just really dives into the practice, and makes it is, in my opinion, she really offers a bridge to into how to be in this practice,
Mhm.
for anyone, whether you're new to yoga or
Yeah.
you've been practicing for 1,000 years. So I that would be like the book that I would really recommend.
Oh, nice. Awesome.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
yeah,
Well, you know what? I think it's time like to open it to members or
great.
people on this call. Does anyone have any questions or anything for Erin or want to share comments or stories? We'd love to hear from you guys. Give it a couple moments.
Hmm.
Let's see here.
Yeah, Debbie, let me know how
Ooh,
you like it. I would love to hear from
yeah, we
you.
love to hear from you, Debbie. Thank you.
Also, I'll just say one more thing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
um Beautiful to practice yoga asana and then do a yoga nidra. So if
Ooh,
you
yeah.
have for days when you might have a little bit more time, I mean, on Inner Dimension there's 20-minute practices and there's 30-minute shorter practices, but what, like, my ultimate kind of like personal retreat is you do an hour long practice and then you lay down, and because you've already opened your body, you get your blood flowing, you regulated your nervous system through asana, then you lay down and you dissolve. So highly recommend combination, and you don't need to. Yoga Nidra works well on its own.
Yeah. And is that usually your routine that you personally do kind of weekly, like a sauna class and then yoga nidra?
I mean, that's my ideal. Right now, my
Yeah.
Yoga Nidra practice exists on its
Yeah.
own. I have kind
Got
of
it.
like my
Mhm.
morning thing and then my Yoga Nidra moment.
Yeah, beautiful. Ooh, good question. Will there also be a yoga nidra part in the 300-hour yoga teacher training? We will be releasing a meditation training soon, which I'm
Mm,
sure we're going to talk about yoga nidra as well. So that will be released next year. Stay tuned on that.
beautiful.
Yeah. Um, is it preferred? This is just kind of a random question I just thought of right now.
Yeah,
To do yoga nidra on an empty stomach, or it doesn't really matter? Like, just
yeah,
curious.
yeah. I mean, it's a good question. I think
Yeah.
when you talk about rest and digest, and
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
place to go into,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's like a
Yeah.
I don't think it's a big thing, but
Yeah. Got it.
I would
Yeah.
say energetically being
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
a little bit more empty, not
Yeah.
having your body using energy to digest,
Yeah.
can help you
Yeah.
relax a little bit.
Got it. Ooh, one more comment. I would love to introduce Yoga Nidra to my college students in our stress management course. Absolutely.
Wow, yeah, amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It's so great because you can do yoga nidra sitting up, absolutely,
Mm-hmm.
but I find giving people an invitation to lie down, and if you can't lie down in the space, to lean against a wall, already that's radical.
Yeah.
Telling someone like what you're gonna do right now is lay down is a thing.
So most of the time you're supposed to lie down, but you can sit up if you like during these
Yeah, the
classes.
the
Yeah.
kind of
Mhm.
invitation is supreme comfort.
Mhm.
So for
Mhm.
many of us, lying down allows us to change the orientation of the mind
Yeah.
from our
Yeah.
normal thing.
Yeah. Are props used during yoga nidra as well, or
They can
blankets
be.
or anything? Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Like, again, it's called we refer to it as a nidra nest. So it's like whatever
Love that.
accoutrement feels good to really make yourself comfortable. And you know, for those who can't lie on their backs, you can lie on your side, or
Mhm.
you know, you can choose some yoga nidra you can do lying on your belly. It's yeah, it's more
Yeah.
just like
Just be
comfort
comfortable.
is the priority.
Yeah. See. Let's see. How we have one more question. How would you
Yeah.
introduce Yoga Nidra to people who are more skeptical? What's a good starting point? Oh, that's a great question. Like for beginners.
Yeah. I would say to take out, if they're skeptical, if there's a little bit of like the word yoga, and even the word nidra is not
Mhm.
doesn't come from an English word that many of us hear. I mean, I think this is where NSDR comes in. This is a technique to de-stress. It's a technique to relax. It's simple. Anyone can do it. It's going to support your nervous system, your physiology. Like, you can take what is happening in our culture, which is science is validating what the yogis have been saying forever. They just use different language. You can use that approach. You can make it like, I don't know if there's a better word, but secular. You can say like, this is going to benefit your body and your mind. And it's okay if it's challenging, because even though we'd like to think, oh, resting, that's easy. Like, is this really a practice? Yeah, for probably all of us.
Yeah,
It
definitely. Yeah, it's so hard to kind of turn off that voice in your head, huh? When you practice this, it's actually very difficult. But once you do, oh man, it feels amazing.
Yeah. I mean, I tell my clients that are a bit skeptical or, you know, hesitant, like, this is a different form of strength. This is a different form of courage, of leadership. Like, this is, we don't talk about it like this, but we all know how to be an effort. We all know how to move quickly. But show me the being in the room that can slow down and find center in a moment. That's the person I want to be around. I want to follow. I want to listen to. So you can kind of like speak to the benefit of the practice in order to stoke why someone might want to invest in it.
Ah, beautiful. Well, doesn't look like anyone has any other questions at the moment, but if anything pops up, just let us know. Erin, what's like the best place for people to reach you at if they do have any questions? Like, do you have a website or Instagram or yeah.
You can just close your eyes and say Yoga Nidra. One day. Yeah, Instagram. I think I'm on the Inner Dimension page. It's Erin_Rose_Ward. And then my website is erinrward.com.
Awesome, beautiful. And also with our community conversations, we love to, you know, have some karma yoga involved. And we always want like the instructor, like Erin, to choose a charity close to her heart. In this one, she's dedicating it to the Maui United Way disaster relief due to the unfortunate tragedy that occurred in Maui. So feel free to donate if you wish. Yeah, thank you, Erin, for that.
Thank you all.
Yeah, so yeah, I think that was it. So thank you, Erin, so much. We are looking forward to your series. I am looking forward to your series. I think everyone on the team is looking forward to your series, Lauren especially. And yeah, so yeah, the series releases next Wednesday, everyone.
Yes. Blessings on your rest. We all deserve it. As my teacher says, it's a birthright that we've forgotten about. So yeah, let me know how it goes. I would love to hear from you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, everyone.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.